Uh, what if I tell you that this session is going to be very much boring? Every second will be boring. Will you still like to watch this session? This is the topic of the session, how to do boring things. See, many things in our life we found that we don't like, we find it so boring. So today we are discussing on this topic. We are having Katina ma'am with us. She is joining from Croatia. I welcome you, Katina ma'am, in this session. And before I begin this session, I'd like to tell you that there is a big purpose behind doing this session. We are doing this from last 2 years now. We have not missed a single day, whether it would be any important event. We have still run our session in same time. And there's a purpose behind running this session is whosoever watches this session, they should have a smile on their face. When they continuously watches this session, their life becomes a celebration. And we don't stop till then. We just hold them and we tell them, you are happy now. It's your responsibility to make other people also happy. And it's completely your responsibility to create a stress-free and violence-free society also. We just try to make them volunteers also. So creating a stress-free, violence-free society, it's Gurudev's vision. We have made Gurudev's vision our mission, and we are just trying to move towards it. And Katina ma'am, this sessions that we do, it's mostly very informal, very candid. Most of the people watching this session are from Art of Living itself. So it's like a home. We all get together and we just discuss things. And I will just mute everyone. No, it's fine. Okay, and many people have read your introduction, they know you. But for those who are new, I'd just like to introduce you to the group. So, talking about her, she's been in Art of Living for around 10 years. Uh, During that, she also became meditation and breath workshop teacher. She has 200 plus hours of yoga training experience. She's also a prison smart teacher. She is an English teacher by profession. She has also worked in Badantogast ashram in Germany as a seva manager for a few years. She is a full-time Art of Living volunteer. She is currently employed by Shri Shri Tattva Europe as a copywriter. So my first question to you, Katina ma'am, that is, there are many times that we find things so boring, like staying in a line, queue, and there are many things that at all we don't find interesting. So at that situation, how do we make up our mind and what to do when something very boring comes in front of us?
Such an interesting topic. First of all, I want to thank you for that lovely introduction. When I listen to it like that, it sounds quite impressive, you know? So with this topic, I was thinking about it now for the last few days, like how to do things when things are boring, how to find inspiration, right? We all have to do our daily jobs. We all have to do, you know, go to our workplace. We have to take care of our home, our family. Sometimes we have to clean around the house. We don't feel like it's very inspiring, right? And also, this can relate to doing some other work, like doing work for others. Sometimes we don't always find inspiration in doing something for someone else. We do it because we have to do it, right? You have to take care of someone. You have to do something. So then I was thinking how to kind of maintain that inspiration to do all these things without suffering, right? Because often, as Abhishek said, we have to stand in a line in the bank or somewhere in the store, and then we're extremely bored, right? We don't want to be there. We want to do some fun stuff. And the first thing that comes to me as a person who is, of course, involved in a spiritual life and a lifestyle that supports it, of course, do whatever I can on that aspect, so I can see life as something interesting, as a wonder, right? It's in the little things that we actually have to find inspiration. It's in the little things that we actually have to find motivation to wonder about them, to look at them and think, okay, now I'm standing in this line in front of the store and it's boring, but I look around and I see something beautiful around me. I see flowers, I see children, right? Then suddenly standing in that line doesn't feel so boring or so stressful, right? So it's finding the joy in little things that surround us. And of course, what helps us to find that joy is a regular practice, right? Abhishek said we're all more or less in art of living. So we know about meditation, we know about breathing techniques, we know about all these things. So those things actually help us get motivated or be able to see the beauty around us and the wonder around us. And then all these things that we feel are so boring and so annoying, they don't seem so bad anymore. They don't weigh on our head anymore. Yeah. And then in doing things for others. For example, we speak about seva all the time, right? We always talk about seva and how we should help others and volunteer and do all these things. But we also
Katina, before we come to seva and the part of art of living, let me ask you how you came to art of living, because many people still find okay meditation, okay all this exercise, okay I'm already healthy, I'm young, we do party, we do disco, we do dance, it's fine. So how a youngster, how a normal people gets attracted to this path, and what's your story?
I see an emoji there, which reminds me of my story, actually. So yes, I was resisting this path of art of living and meditation for a very, very long time. So my story goes that my sister started this path, started to meditate, started to do Sudarshan Kriya, listen to the talks of Gurudev. She's even in this call today. And she, not with much luck, she tried to inspire me with just doing these things or like improving her life somehow. She tried to inspire me to take that path, because as Abhishek, as you said, I was also in this mode of, I have better things to do. This is not for me. I want to go out with my friends. Who wants to sit and meditate? All these things were kind of very, very far away from me. But then what happened, like often for people, which I've also heard from others in this path and in art of living, you reach a certain point also in your life where you don't see another way out a little bit, like something happens, like a drastic things happen in our lives. And then we think, okay, now I'm in this point, this is a very low point for me. What can I do to help myself? And this was kind of the motivation that took me personally onto this path. A series of very unfortunate events, which made me look at my life and think, okay, I'm actually missing something. There's something missing, because things shouldn't be this hard. Like in the back of my mind, I knew that it shouldn't be that hard, that life is more than that there's more to life than just being miserable all the time, or stressed all the time, or worried all the time, and thinking that only bad things happen to me. So, and then at that point, I decided, okay, I told my sister, I'm done. So she told me, it was 2012, it was Christmas time. So she would go to the Bad Antogast center, to our ashram in Bad Antogast for volunteering. She was many years in art of living. So she tricked me a little bit, actually, in a way. I was open for it, but she tricked me. I'll tell you how. So she told me, why don't you come with me to the ashram and do some seva, do some volunteer work? Let's spend Christmas. Gurudev will be there. Why not? You're like, you have no other plans. why don't you come? And I was thinking, well, I was thinking, I'm like so low right now in my life, it cannot get any worse, so why not? I can go to the ashram, right? And then she told me, well, to go there and to volunteer and to do seva, you actually have to do the course, because you have to do the morning sadhana together with everyone. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. So I did my first course with my sister as my teacher. And immediately we went, like a week after that, we were already in Vedantagast in the ashram, where I met Gurudev for the first time. So mind you, at that time, I was not so impressed with anything. I did my Kriya. It was an amazing experience. I saw that something is really nice happening. But then we came to Vedantagast. There were so many people. Gurudev was there. And he entered the spring hall, the big hall, where we go for satsang. And I remember him coming in, and I used to see him on pictures, you know. So in that picture, when I saw him for the first time, and anytime when I came to my sister's house, I thought, like, this is like I saw a big person, you know, like I saw something big there. And then he entered the spring hall, and the first impression I had, oh, he's so small, because I'm also very tall. You can't see it right now, but I'm tall. So my first impression is that he's so tiny, but he's so big. You know, that was my absolute first impression of him. And then, long story short, he came, he sat down in his chair for satsang. And the second thing, except for thinking how short he is, the second thing that happened to me, I started crying. Like, tears were just streaming down my face. Tears of gratitude, sadness, relief. I don't know what it was exactly, but this was something I felt. And when I felt that, then I knew I was doing something, you know, like inside of me, I felt I connected to him, to all the people around me. I was a little bit also overwhelmed. There were so many people, you know, it was a very different situation from what I was used to in life. I was not in touch with the spiritual path at all. You know, I was listening about it, but I wasn't really involved in it. And basically this is how, and my sister brought me to him, and she said, Gurudev, this is my sister. And since then, he never called me by my name. My sister's name is Gordana. So every time he sees me, he's like, oh, Gordana's sister. So I think that's really, really sweet. I mean, I'm sure in some way he really does know my name, but I find it also very charming for him to, you know, call me like that. And this was basically the start of my path in Art of Living. I started coming to Vedantagast. I was doing seva. At some point, I became the manager, and then I decided to completely change my life in that respect. And now, 10 years later, I'm a full-time employee and volunteer of Art of Living and Shri Shri Tattva. So,
in this journey, you might also, because many people just come to Art of Living. Just a second, I will mute everyone. Many people come to Art of Living. They just do the Kriya. But few people do the higher level programs, and out of them, very few people become teachers. What has inspired you to become a teacher of Art of Living? You were always like public speaker or something like that. What was the inspiration of becoming a teacher?
Well, in the beginning, I was not at all interested in becoming a teacher. I was happy, as you said, like I was happy with what I was doing. I would come a little bit for seva to the ashram. I would do my practice. I did my practice, but I wasn't really, and I did silence course. I did some courses, of course, but I wasn't so interested in becoming a teacher. But yes, my personality and my job, like generally, like my profession is English teacher. So, okay, I'm used to talking in front of people, sharing, you know, like teaching and everything. But there was also this fear of not being able to teach something so profound, you know, like you kind of feel that you maybe not, this is what I felt, like maybe I'm not worthy of sharing this knowledge because I'm still learning. So in the beginning, I was really not confident enough to do it. But then, like, just being in this Sangha, just being with Art of Living, not only doing the practice, I was very much involved in with other people who are in Art of Living. We were doing projects together. At some point, it was also with Gurudev. He came to Badantogas, to the ashram, and there was a darshan line, so he was giving darshan in one of the halls, and I just saw him, and I thought, I just want to do more. I want to do more. Suddenly it was not enough. It was not enough just being there and, you know, taking care of things. I finally realized, okay, this is something I really want to do. I want to share this knowledge. I want to make this my life somehow. Well, not everyone does that, like completely, okay, I'm full-time. But when you're a teacher, you don't have to be full-time Art of Living. People have jobs and still they teach courses. So I always had that option. And I saw him and looked at him and I said, Gurudev, can I do my TTC? And then he said, yes, of course, you can become a teacher. Secretly, I was hoping he would say no, so I don't have to go. But he said yes. And then I did the teacher training. And I have to tell you, it like so many things in this path have changed my life in little aspects, some bigger, some smaller. But doing this teacher training was something profoundly inspiring. It's like something changed inside of me. I cannot really explain it. I'm always the same person, of course. But it gave me an enormous strength and an enormous self-confidence into myself and into the world somehow. And I felt very, very inspired. It was the best weeks of my life, really amazing. And just achieving that, you know, because in the beginning I was thinking maybe I don't teach courses, I just go through this process, you know, I will just do it and see what happens. But then after doing the teacher training, all I wanted to do is teach courses and share more of this knowledge with everyone, because I felt like everybody should feel like this. Every person in the world should feel like this, feel inspired, feel safe, protected. You know, like this is a feeling that even, I mean, Gurudev always says we are rays of light, right? And that our essence is joy and happiness. And by sharing this knowledge and by sharing these techniques, you actually like give people the opportunity to feel the same thing, to feel it and to realize that life is so much more than doing boring things, and that we can actually be inspired.
Generally, I have seen people who are working 9 to 5 job, they do Kriya in the morning. And after that, we have a constant tendency in our mind. We have done our Sudarshan, we sit for meditation. Then we think that, okay, I am getting late. I have to do number of things in a day. So we are sitting in meditation, we just stand up and we don't give time to it. How should we trick our brain so that we understand the importance of sitting in meditation? Because people really find sitting, closing our eyes and doing nothing is really boring. What I am doing and all. They always need some activity, something, some task. In 3 stages, we have some task to do. In main Kriya also, we have some task to do. But in meditation, people find, okay, what I am doing now. So how it can be done with smile and how we can resist and make it interesting?
Well, it's again kind of it's again like the thing that I said in the beginning, just to wonder about it, right? We have expectations of things. We have expectations of what our meditation should be like, how long we should meditate, how it should go. Then we're worried about all the thoughts that are coming during meditation. Then we cannot relax. I mean, I remember, like, even today it happens. Sometimes when I meditate, my face goes like this, and then I realize that I have to relax my forehead, that, my thoughts are so strong that this happens, right? So first of all, we organize our time that we have enough time for meditation. Second, we don't look at the clock. Oh, I have to meditate for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. Who's going to meditate for 15 minutes? I'm going to be so bored in these 15 minutes, right? So we just let it happen. And even if it's shorter, sometimes it will be shorter, sometimes it would be longer. It's okay. Don't judge what's happening. This is, I think, the main thing. Like, don't judge what's happening during your meditation. Even when you think you're not meditating, you are sitting there and something is going on and some benefit is coming to you. And then if you feel bored or excited or worried or whatever comes to you, you just, like, if I don't know how many of you have done a silence course or not, but we always talk about observing what's happening, right? So if you're bored and your thought is coming, your thought is, oh, I'm bored. So something is already happening. You can observe that thought and think, okay, now I'm bored. What next? Then something else will come and something else will come. And after a while, your mind will calm down and these thoughts and these worries will stop coming or reduce or maybe even increase. But in that case, again, we don't judge what's happening. We just sit there. And you know what? We have to do a little bit of tapas. Sometimes you just have to sit there and let it happen, right? Sometimes it's like that. But just don't judge and just, let it be. Let it be.
We see today's generation, they always want something in their life, something interesting. Like we see today, the news is going on, people are watching it, and they find it like something is happening, that they are trying to engage with all the things. When I'm just talking with respect to art of living, when we are doing seva also, we need those kind of seva, which is very interesting, like standing in the stage and addressing people, like showing the demo of yoga or something in which we get some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of like people are noticing me. Those kind of seva are more done. And if someone says to us, okay, you clean the utensils in the ashram kitchen, we will like, oh, why the seva has been given to me. So how can we shift that, and how can we have a clear mind that, okay, seva is seva? How can it be happen? If you can share your experience also related to this.
So yes, doing the glamorous seva as opposed to doing some regular seva, right? But what is seva? Like we know the meaning, right? We know the meaning of the word. It's selfless service, right? Service without asking for anything in return. Yet we still want a pat on the back. We still want that, the supervisor to see us do it. Or, we still want something. We want to be close to Gurudev. We want to be in a certain position. We want to be acknowledged for what we are doing, right? And that's all fine, of course. We all have that. The ego wants to be, taken care of. The ego wants glamour. But from my experience, especially volunteering and living in the ashram in Germany, I remember the first time I came there, I started with cleaning bathrooms, toilets. This was my job. I was there for the first time as a sevak, as a volunteer. I did not get anything glamorous. It was you clean toilets, you vacuum the corridors, actually the glamorous job was cutting vegetables in the kitchen. I was so low, I didn't even reach that point yet, right? so low. This is the thing in the mind, right? Oh, I have to clean toilets while somebody else is, guarding the door, the entrance of Guruji's corridor. And this guy, they can, take names and make schedules and everything. And there I am scrubbing those bathrooms after 100, 200, 300 people have already passed through them. Not very glamorous, I have to say, right? But at some point, when you let go and just focus on the job, you just focus on doing it, whatever it is. And in your mind, you accept it. I think it's very much about acceptance. You accept, okay, I have come here, I want to volunteer. So I have an idea. For example, if I'm a graphic designer, I have an idea, I will do some graphic design in Badantogast. And then my Seva manager comes and says, you clean that toilet, right? And then I think I'm better than that. Why do I have to do this? I didn't go to school to scrub toilets in an ashram, my skills can be utilized in a better way. But no, actually, it's a very humbling process, and it's a very accepting process. And then I tell you guys, once you accept it and you say, okay, toothbrush in hand, I'm going to scrub this floor with this toothbrush right now. And then you start doing it. And after a while, all that ego, all these concepts, they fall off. They completely fall off. And once you're done and you look at your work, you think, wow, this is amazing. Poor guy taking those names up there. I can actually see the result of my work, So it's a very subtle process and a very, very rewarding process. And another thing, by accepting it and doing from your heart, because you're there to serve, not to be acknowledged, when you do it from the heart, suddenly all the glamorous seva starts coming your way. Suddenly, I was upgraded to reception. I was sitting in an office, after scrubbing all those bathrooms. And I never asked for a reception job. So this is like everything in life, right? You just accept it, you do it, you go with it without expecting anything. And then rewards just keep coming. I have another story. When I was also, like many of these are from Badantogas because Gurudev comes there all the time, right? So from the ashram. I had this moment where I would be frustrated when Gurudev would come to the ashram, and I'm the seva manager, and I had to manage all these sevaks, like 20, 30 people, not so many as in Bangalore ashram, but I had my little crew. And then when he would come, like everybody would go to his door, follow him, go with him on walks. And I could never do it because I had work to do, right? I had to do my seva, I had to distribute the volunteers, I had to take care that the house is taken care of, that, the food is cooked, that everybody's doing their job, myself included. So many times I felt, like everybody's around Gurudev. We all felt that, at some point in our lives. He never sees me, I never see him. I have to be there, and then everybody's out there in the forest walking with him, and then people send pictures in WhatsApp groups, and I just get frustrated because I cannot be there, right? And then one day I decided I will turn that around. I would turn that around. So there was Gurudev was in the house, and I decided, okay, this is my destiny. I cannot go after him. I cannot follow him. I cannot see him anywhere. It's fine. I'm here to do my work, to serve, to take care of the house. I'm doing this for him also. This is his house. So I'm making him comfortable in his house, right? And this was happening. So I was running around the house doing something. I think I was carrying some linens or something like that. So I was going through the corridor, and I was looking in my hands. I had things in my hands. And then suddenly I bump into someone, and I look up, and guess who is in front of me? Gurudev. And he's like, how are you? Are you happy? And I'm like, yes, very happy. And then I told him, I have to go work. I have to go. And then I left. I didn't even stay to talk to him. But this is what happened, right? I ran straight into him. I'm tall and he's tiny. I could have knocked him over also. Thank God I didn't.
It happens like when we are focused on seva, we get so many things. But the thing is that that time many people think that, okay, if I'm doing this seva, if Gurudev should notice me. If we remove that also, then the thing happens. That's the trick, I guess.
Exactly. And you know what, guys? He always knows. He always knows. He always says, we are here for a purpose. We are here because he needs us. So if we don't get, darshan directly, like it's there, it's always there. And he knows. There couldn't be a fly on the wall that he doesn't notice. He knows exactly what we do.
Absolutely. Can you share some more stories of German ashram that you have experienced, some Guru stories?
Oh, so many. Wait. Also, in case you sometimes, I'll give you a little tip for when Gurudev is in the ashram. It's always good to volunteer if you can. Now I'm like breaking my own, what I said about choosing seva, but a very nice position if you're ever there when he's there is to guard the door of the spring hall for satsang, because he has to pass you by. That's really that's really important. So I think it's a very different experience. We in Bad Antofagast in the German ashram, we are a little spoiled because it's not such a big place. There's only a few hundred people who can actually fit there. We cannot even we can fit maybe 1 year. We had almost 1,000 people in the spring hall. People were sitting on each other. It was impossible, So we have that closeness, like physical proximity to him, which is really much more different than in India, where you have thousands of people, right? So we have that privilege. And I remember 1 year, one of our sevaks, one of our art of living full-time teachers, Sana from Bulgaria, it was New Year's. So she decided she wanted to make cupcakes. And this was the year of the 1,000, I think. This is what I called it, because this was the year when we actually fit almost 1,000 people in the spring hall. So Sana decided to make 1,000 cupcakes. 1,000 cupcakes for this event. Like, it was her in the bakery, and the bakery in Bad Antofagast ashram is really quite small. And it was a little miracle that she actually made, like, she had some help, of course. It was not only her, but it was really amazing to see, the power of a devotee actually in doing something like this. So we had those 1,000 cupcakes, and they were, it was also Christmas time, New Year's time. So we brought them into the spring hall, and then people started coming in. There were so many people. And then there was this idea that Gurudev takes takes a cupcake and then puts cream all over it, and then gives it to everyone in the spring hall. And that was a big challenge. But in the end, like everything he does, with such attention, with such love, towards everyone. He was just taking, it was like really amazing to see that him taking those cupcakes, and Sana also giving to him and putting cream on each and every single cupcake and giving those cupcakes. So this is another thing, like he appreciates and he sees everyone, and he wants everyone to be happy and to be joyful and, to live a full life. And somehow for me, it was like, okay, he's always there for us. And now in these lessons that I kind of learned in the ashram, many of us now, since the COVID times, we didn't, we stayed in Bad Antofagast, but Gurudev was not coming, right? For 2 years, we didn't see him. So many of my friends and teachers and art of living people, are very sad about it. You know, like everybody wants to be in his physical presence. Everybody wants to be near him. But like this gesture with the cupcakes and many more just shows you that really like the physical proximity, as much as it's beautiful and it's an extraordinary experience, is really, really not necessary to feel the love, you know, or to feel the devotion. Really not.
And I also see this happening in Bangalore ashram also. Gurudev has told that the people were making laddus. Laddus is kind of a sweet dish. They were making full night, full day from last 1.5 days, and they have not slept. The sevaks during Navaratri, the volunteers, and they have still so much of energy. So I guess when we are in this path and we are trying to serve people, I guess nothing can get us bored.
Yes.
And because we are here for a higher purpose, serving people. And yeah, and in these times also, like many of the teachers are still there in the borders. Can you tell us in brief about what's happening there and how we are doing seva in the borders of Ukraine?
Okay, so right now, all of our volunteers, as many as can, from entire Europe, like from France, from Germany, from Croatia. Actually, now on Friday, one of our groups is going to the Polish border, and there's also some Croatians already over there. The ashram in Taraska in Poland is open for refugees. So I'm sure you've heard about the Indian students that were housed there now, that made their way finally home. So that was the first batch, and more are coming, right? More refugees. And all our organizations, so IH3, International Association for Human Values, is collecting donations, organizing donations in terms of, you know, medical supplies, blankets, food, whatever needs to come. Then we in Shri Shri Tattva also, we contribute with our products, whatever we can, you know, like sending healthy snacks and some immunity supplements for the people, because unfortunately COVID is still a reality, right? So these people who are in this situation not only struggle with war, but there's also a danger of spreading COVID and people getting sick. So we're giving them some immunity boosters. And it's also an amazing thing to see. Oh, of course, our Swamiji Jyotirmaya, he was the first one to go to Polish border. He lives in Bad Antogast in Germany now for some time. The solidarity is there. All our volunteers are helping. They're even housing people privately if they can, whoever has the opportunity. So we are very, very much involved. Recently, one of my colleagues in Shri Shri Tattva, she's Ukrainian. Her parents were actually stuck in center of Ukraine. They couldn't come out. So just the other day, she sent us a message that she finally hugged her parents, and this was like she managed to get them out with the Art of Living network. You know, because our volunteers were there, and somebody knew someone, somebody helped with something, somebody, you know, gave a car, something happened, and she was able to bring her parents. She lives in Germany, but her parents live in Ukraine. So it's really an amazing opportunity for all of us to you know, to do what we can. Also, Croatia is not so far away, so we can, you know, go from here. Bad Antogast Ashram, I was talking to them this morning, actually. We have the ashram, and then we have another house in this village under the ashram, Maizach, which has been transformed for accepting refugees. And one of my colleagues from Badantoga said that actually all the neighbors, the German neighbors who are not Art of Living, they all joined and brought donations and supplies to the house, and they helped prepare the house. So the house was prepared very quickly, and we're just waiting for people to come and we can welcome them. And there's a working kitchen there, you know, like food is prepared, everything is there to greet the refugees. And there will be so many more coming, and I think we just have to continue with the same dynamic, because often also with these things, when a disaster happens, and this was a thing in Croatia, we had these earthquakes in Zagreb, like last year. They were really devastating earthquakes. And then the thing is, you have all the communities coming and donating and working, but then at some point they stop. You know, like people lose the enthusiasm. It doesn't go so strongly anymore. And this is the most important part, actually. The most important part. So when the first wave of enthusiasm and donations, you know, kind of finishes, that we still maintain a certain level of care for people, because I don't think this will just finish from today to tomorrow. And then these people at some point also have to go home, hopefully. Hopefully, if this whole messy situation happens.
That's, I always feel like the Art of Living volunteers are always there if anything happens to the humanity. And I always feel proud of that, because the Art of Living teachers and volunteers, they are not just for this Art of Living and we are just trying to make a cult over here. It's for the whole world. And what kind of, we are also watching in news that how our volunteers are there. We all are somehow or the other connected. And I guess according to today's topic, what to do when we want to do boring things. I guess when we have a higher purpose in life, when we have a higher goal, we are in Art of Living, this question gets faded off, I guess. And the people who are watching it on YouTube, I guess you have also understood that when you are doing something boring, but you have a greater cause, bigger picture behind it, I guess you will pass through it and you will start living that moment. And I would also tell you to share this session to as many people as possible. They will also get inspired, and they will get inspired to do something for others if they watches this full 40 minutes. And those who have came for the first time, make sure you subscribe this channel. We come up with these kind of amazing content daily, which means every day you will get something to get yourself more connected in this path. And Katina ma'am, before we conclude this session, any last message you want to give to the people who are watching it now and who will watch it in near future?
So what I would like to finish is, we all have our struggles, you know, we all have our worries, we all have things that weigh on our minds. We have our lives, right? Life happens. But just to remember, as Abhishek said, with the boredom also, just like if we remember that all these things kind of lose their strength if you look at the big picture of life, you know, if you see beyond your own personal space, you know. And when we see the bigger picture, then we can really enjoy the wonder of life, because life is really beautiful. And as Gurudev, I was listening to a knowledge session yesterday, and he said, when does doubt come? Or when does this come? When we don't do the practice, when we do not meditate, when we stop doing the kriya, right? This is when doubt comes. Doubt about, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Is this okay, right? So just, you know, do the practice, enjoy it. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. So if the smile is not natural, you just put that smile on your face, fake it. At some point, it will be a genuine smile from the bottom of your heart. I promise, because I also faked it and then I made it. And if I could, everyone can.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Anyone else want to say something before we end this? Any message to Katina, ma'am? Yes, Swarna Didi.
Jai Gurudev, Katrina, nice talking to you. Inspired us so much. Yes, we should do seva and do kriya regularly, sadhana as long as possible. Yeah, we should always do seva and help others. We should not see only ourselves. We should go beyond us.
Yes.
That is what is Atavri is doing throughout world. And I am sure many will join us and help each and every person and make this world a better place.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Khan sir wants to say something.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for this session. And about the seva, I can relate because I was in a seva translation seva, and you know I started just with five videos of Gurudev I had to translate, and at the same time some people were organizing big meditation challenge. So I was thinking about how me I cannot participate and gather people to do a meditation challenge, and for this April month, Gurudev has given me his blessing, and I have participate in meditation challenge, and he had given me a work more better. It was about the to translate researches about Sudarshan Kriya. I had to translate that in French. And I started just with five small videos, like maximum 1 minute. And just in 3 months, everything changed. And I had this doubt why I'm doing that, and some people are doing more higher things and all that.
Answer. Yes. Veronica, ma'am, you want to say something about her? Please unmute. Yes.
Okay. Hi. I loved you. Got tears in my eyes with your stories, and it was so beautiful to hear you. And I loved your questions. It was really nice, very humane, very touching, things that comes to the mind to everybody, and hearing from you, it was lovely. So it's like what I take is exactly like how the important thing is really to drop everything and just do things from our heart. Whatever we do, big or small, doesn't matter. That's mind stuff. And I'm very grateful to be here with you all. Thank you. And to be on this path, and to have the luck to know Guruji. Yes.
Wonderful. Pedro, you want to say something?
Oh, I read like all the history of Katina. She's a very good friend of mine, and it's always like a pleasure to listen to it again. It's very inspiring. It's an honor to be like her friend. It's like real honor. I see like all the things that she went through, and all this path like she already like walked it through. It's like for me it's like an honor, really. Very, like every time that I listen to her history, I get even more like I see her like with more and like more like bright eyes, I would say. So it's really cool.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Katina, ma'am, for coming and sharing this wonderful knowledge with all of us.
Thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed very, very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed every moment with you.